Louise, welcome to On the Couch.
Welcome, Sadhna.
Body language is what we're talking about today.
Yes.
I know, I find it fascinating because I think we do so much stuff unconsciously that we don't realise, and that's feedback to the other person. So let's go through some of the basics of body language and start to drill down on why it's so important. So let's start there. Why is body language so important?
Well, it's important for a couple of reasons. One reason is the whole area of non-verbal studies and the study of perception. So how other people perceive you. And the research in that area shows that it is up to 93% of what you do. And the more emotional people are, the more they become like animals, they only read your body. The other side is why body language is important, because it's about self-discovery. It's about understanding who you are and what your responses are and bringing that back under control, which gives people confidence, makes them understand the world of communication so much better.
Okay. So we work in a sales environment and we're always pitching for business, so pitching for homes to sell. So when an agent walks into a property, before we start talking about what the other person is seeing in them, let's look at what the agent should be seeing in themselves. It's the whole thing of, I'm standing in front of the mirror, who am I?
Yeah.
So who should I be?
Neutral. I think that there's a neutrality until you know what the other person is. And finding that neutral position is very difficult. You know, in acting schools, they do a test where they put on a film and they get the actors to walk across the stage and they say, bring your neutral self to the room. People don't understand what their neutral self is, and they walk across the room and then everyone tells them who they brought to the room. They're not neutral at all. And it takes quite a lot of study to find your neutral self. It's like your gear in the car. And I think that, you know, initially we need a neutral position before we respond to what the other person is.
Okay, let's go to handshake, because that's the next thing that we do when we meet someone. And handshake is such, you know, women say some men's handshakes are too firm, too soft, not firm enough. You know, and I know there's a position you need to take when you do the handshake, so talk me through that.
You know, nobody ever thinks about what they do. And when you analyse it, the only thing we've ever talked about is whether the hand is on top or underneath. And really, I think that's a boys' game. You know, I don't think that's so relevant for women. I don't think people do it to women, and it doesn't seem to be part of what we do. What we need to do is look at the feet and which foot goes with the hand. We need to look at the eye contact. We need to look at the strength of the slot, not the strength of the actual grip, and we need to look that the arm is off the body. You know, so often when people say the hand grip of other people is too firm, it's because we've done it to ourselves, because we withdraw back like that. And then what happens is when you get the end of the hand, you get it squashed. Whereas if the hand's in like that, it's actually impossible to have your hand squashed.
When somebody sees you, how long does it take for them to make a first impression judgment about you?
Oh, I think it's seconds. 4 seconds.
And what are they looking at?
Well, people always think that they're looking at your hair and your clothes. I think that they're also looking at things that we haven't thought about. It's the placement of the breath in the body, whether the breath is high, where the eyes are, and also just body tension, I think we read in a big way.
When you're uncomfortable or you're nervous, or you're unsure about a situation you're going into, what are some of the unconscious behaviours that we may have that if we talk about, people may become conscious of?
Yeah, great. Lots of them. Obviously, breath is key, keeping the breath low in the body. So most people, when we become stressed, the diaphragm jams and the breathing comes up. And what that sets off is a whole series of problems with the throat, the mouth becomes sealed, you know, the jaw becomes tense, these sort of things, and the head starts throwing very often as we put our power. So I met a fellow the other day, and he was obviously a very peaceful, educated man, dressed beautifully, hair beautifully, but he had his head off his body, and it looked a little bit spooky, because then the next thing he did was he lifted his eyes up so that you could see whites under his eyes, and then when he smiled, it was spooky. See, if your head's on your body, a smile and showing the teeth is friendship. But actually, if your head's off and your eyes are at an odd angle, then it becomes, you know, unusual. And these are the things people never get feedback on. And we think that they're natural traits. They're not natural, they're habitual, and it's quite different.